Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning into the day's energies, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading for anybody who's drawn to these messages. No particular sign. All right, what's the overall energy of today's reading? What's hidden? What's hidden from the viewer? Thank you. Outcome and advice. Thank you. All right. Let's look at, oh, wow. The overall energy of this reading is the world. Wow. Okay. This is the last card of the tarot deck. It's denotes ending a cycle, completing, going through all of the tarot deck and ending with achievements, accomplishments. She's got access to the sword, the cup, pentacle, and the wands. It's like graduation, stepping into that next space. Some of you are, I'm getting like the world stage expanding. Feels like the cycles you've been exploring have been very dense. A lot of pressure. What do we need to know about the world? What do we need to know about the world? That feels pretty open-ended. Yeah, it looks like you're leaving behind. When I was saying dense energies, it feels like you're leaving behind a cycle where you were learning about someone creating a false reality. It feels like you were raised, you might have been raised with beliefs that this is what this reality is and this is how you need to show up. You should. It feels like a lot of shoulds. People shoulding you. You need to be this way. So it feels like I'm talking to somebody who, coming into this world as an infant, being born, that instead of being raised to validate you as a being and loving you where you are, instead it feels like you were taught that you need to fit in to some type of structure, family structure, societal government structures, religious structures for some of you, and they're all very limiting for the individual. It's not conducive for self-love and validating your own existence, that you are already perfect right now. Instead, it's teaching a lot of being insecure, power dynamics, controlling others. And it looks like here specifically the cycle that you're ending is some type of like illusion. People who sell you a story, a fabrication, a delusion, a false reality that you have to have like cognitive dissonance to connect with someone in that reality. In the home space, it might be very performative, that whoever's setting the energy in that home, that you can't really show up as yourself. You have to mask and placate to whoever is senior in that space, and yes, and I'm great. So it feels very performative. Maybe on the family front, feels like a lot of performative behavior. Not really being happy because you're not really being yourself. You aren't really being taught to believe that yourself is good, that you need to fit in. It's very exhausting because there's a lot of performing. Maybe everybody's a little performative in this idealized space. It looks like the longer you're in that type of environment, the more exhausted you become, because it's all performative. Even maybe in your house, performing to everyone, not really able to fully be yourself, because self isn't uplifted. Self is not important. It's about fitting in, not belonging, but fitting in. Okay. Anything else the viewer needs to know about thank you. Okay, these cards came out as a challenge. Knight of Swords, 10 of Pentacles reverse, 9 of Cups reverse. There's a lot of Knight energy in this at the beginning of these messages. People controlling narratives, people controlling your narrative, trying to make you fit in, to make you feel like you have to work really hard. It feels like there's some type of narrative that you don't fit in, no matter how hard you try. It feels like, this feels like scapegoat energy. You might have been deemed the scapegoat. So not only is there this pressure to fit in, to perform and show up in a way that's pleasing to the group and or whoever's senior in that space, but it feels like you had an added pressure of being labeled as difficult, the scapegoat, that you'll never fit in. And so it feels like you're trying so hard to fit into some type of group, family. They don't care about you, but it feels like you're trying to get people to care about you, which just makes them feel more empowered to discard you, keep you on the outs. It feels like as scapegoat, you might have held all the shame and blame in the family. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't matter what you do, that you can't change that archetype. So it tells me that in this family and group environment that there are others that just don't want to be you, don't want to be on your side because they don't want to be excluded too. So they take their power in the group by belittling you. This is a lot of enablers. As a former enabler, I'm recognizing this energy. It's enabler energy just running off of fear of abandonment, fear of being the scapegoat, fear of being left out. And so if someone in the group is deemed bad, scapegoat, then it makes you feel confident in your position that there's someone definitely who is lower than you. You don't stand up for them. You don't help them. You don't stick up for them behind their back. You don't, as an enabler. And so it feels like there's just a lot of enablers that feel confident, feel comfortable with you being ousted, because then their role is secure. Does that make sense? At some point, it looks like you recognize that you're not going to change anybody's minds. You have a role, a function in the family, in this system, and it's working for the family. It's not working for you. There's no way to change that I'm perceiving here other than walking away. This is an eclipse here. Feels like you might be utilizing the lunar eclipse energy on the 13th of March to really eclipse this type of energy. Leave it behind you. Detach from it. What's interesting here is it feels like your willingness to walk away and end this not being agreement. I don't want to be a scapegoat. I'm not going to accept this treatment. I'm going to go elsewhere. Feels like it's making people nervous. That's way too many. Let's try that again. Why is it making people nervous? Wow, 6 of Swords in reverse was the nervousness. Because 6 of Pentacles looks like you found balance when you walk away from this group and just disagree. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to try to convince you to see me in a different way other than a scapegoat. But I'm not going to tolerate being played in my face. I'm not going to tolerate this type of treatment. You've shown me how you feel comfortable treating me and that nobody's standing up for me, so I'm going to go elsewhere. That's what it feels like. And it looks like by no longer begging people to care about your treatment, and instead you care how you're being treated, and so you remove yourself from environments where you don't like how you're being treated, then you take your power back. You start investing in yourself. This feels like you're investing in people. This isn't transactional, but it feels like you are more discerning and you invest in people who care about you. Taking the time, your precious time. I think you're realizing how valuable you are. Not in this environment. But recognizing that you do have value, you have worth, and finding people who are interested in engaging with you in a more balanced way, not taking advantage of you, not having you in that position of scapegoat. So, in what's hidden, we have the King of Wands in reverse, the Knight of Swords in reverse, and the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, the King of Wands in reverse. This is someone very insecure. They don't go after what they desire. This feels like someone who's sulking in a bit of a pity party. Oh, they do feel very, sorry for themselves. Okay, someone who's sorry for themselves. Knight of Swords in reverse. Look at this image of the Knight of Swords upright. See if you can... Look how aggressive. The horse is even like, oh my gosh, dude, lighten up. He's just coming in hot. And just... It feels rushed and aggressive. And in reverse, it feels... It feels hesitant. It feels like someone rushed in aggressively. Feels like this King of Wands in reverse is utilizing this Knight of Swords in reverse energy. There we go. To control someone. It feels like this is someone who was controlling the narrative about you, someone very confident about telling some story. I can see all the enablers, like just giddy that someone else is the fall guy, because it assures their space, their place in this group. It's not them yet. And then 10 of Pentacles in reverse, it's like a lost legacy. No abundance, no inheritance. Feels like someone tried to create this for you, so you wouldn't have stability, security, you wouldn't have a legacy, that you would be deprived of everything. Feels like it goes with their narrative, their story. It feels like they're feeling really sorry for themselves. Why are they... It's interesting. This person's feeling very sorry for themselves about the negative story and how they trapped you. Why? Okay. 5 of Wands in reverse. They don't want to fight. They can't fight this. Feels like I'm tuned into somebody who's feeling sorry for themselves for trying to control a negative story about you, trying to trap you without an inheritance, but instead this person is all spent. Ooh, Judgment. Okay, so I feel like they are being judged, and that's why they're telling a tale of woe. So this type of energy, this King of Wands in reverse, doesn't accept doesn't accept accountability. This is the type of energy, if caught in a lie and creating deceptions around others, around you, then it feels like they go into, well, I guess I'm just the worst person. Well, I guess I'm just a horrible... You just know what I mean? That defensive, slick... It's not even slick. It's just immature. Ego. They can never just be like, oh, wow, I did a thing. I was this way or that way. If so there's an inability to grow and mature. If you can't accept any input that it might be perceived as negative about yourself, then you're not really a safe person in a relationship, in any type of relationship, because you're more concerned with how others view you than the reality of the connection and relationship. So if someone is more concerned with their optics, then it's impossible, because they're showing you that they care more about how everyone else is viewing them than a real, actual growing connection, which takes vulnerability and understanding and care. So I feel like this person is being judged harshly. But instead of taking this opportunity to have an awakening, it feels like a lot of the people that I'm tuned into are just more like more of the same, more excuses, justifications, more of the same. Boy, the Wands in reverse as clarification. Three of Wands in reverse is my timing card. Like time's up. Feels like they're getting further and further away from what their intention, their goal was. And people are seeing who they really are. It feels like they're pulling their energy from this person. I get the feeling for some of you that this person, it feels like you've ended this cycle, world card, achievements, moved on, focused on you. And for some of you, this person can't stop this behavior. Poor, pitiful me. Viewer is horrible, still doing something. I don't know. It just feels like they can't let that story go. Yeah, and I feel all this judgment, people, and I feel like this person can feel the judgment, but instead of looking into their blind spots, doing some self-examination, this person just is, they've got their MO, modus operandi, and that is to evade, avoid, justify. Yeah. All right. Outcome and advice. The Three of Wands upright. Nine of Pentacles. Empress. And then the Ace of Swords in reverse. So it took time. Again, Three of Wands is my timing card. It feels like it, so you might have perceived that this took a long time to get to this world card, to end this cycle. To others, it really appears like it was very fast, very quickly. You left this person and this energy behind, focused on your independence. This is pre-Empress energy. And now it looks like you're stepping into Empress energy. So in this version of the Nine of Pentacles in the After Tarot, she's, in the original, she's got a falcon on her hand and she's focusing on the falcon. So she's learned how to train her focus on what she wants. She's got a skill. Grapes takes a lot of skill and talent. There's something very unique, something that you're special at, something that you're really good at. And you've trained your focus so much that in the After Tarot, she's let go of the falconer glove and the falcon is flying high. She doesn't have to focus so hard. It feels like there's a lot more ease once you create abundance and get in that flow of abundance, then more and more streams of abundance come through as well. Feels like luxury, independence, and now you're stepping into this Empress energy. So pre-Empress, Empress. There are flowers on her cloak. They kind of look like polka dots without my glasses. Polka dots in the tarot means a need to have fun, lightheartedness. And I feel like there's this lighthearted energy as you're stepping into Empress mode, your divine feminine. Wow. It feels like you, with the World card, that you've ended a cycle and with achievements. And you're stepping into, or have already stepped into, this Empress mode. The proof's in the pudding, how you show up. Instead of trying to fight and trying to convince people. I'm a little wary of people who come in and try to tell me who they are and aren't willing to just let time show me who they are. But people who are like, I am this and I am that. I'm like, Instead of just getting to know someone, it kind of is interesting. Instead of allowing me to decide who they are, and do you know what I mean? Trying to control, this is who I am. This is how I need to be perceived. And so in this outcome, it looks like you have leveled up in a tremendous way. And the Ace of Swords in reverse. This Ace of Swords is such a great image. Here's that falcon, and look, it's got blinders on. I think people were blindly kind of listening. I think there were a lot of enablers willing to hear some foundational untruths about you. Enablers lack courage. They're just trying to survive in a hostile environment. As an enabler, former enabler myself, I might have, in group situations, I would recognize where my truth is, but I wouldn't speak it. And I wouldn't put my beliefs out on the line, out on the table. I just kind of kept hidden. And it created implied complicity, implied agreement with whoever was talking to me, even if I was just like listening. And I thought that was enough. Me knowing, oh, I don't agree with that. And not every agreement do I disagree. But when it's important, when it's at the expense of someone else, then I don't want to participate. And I want it made very clear I'm not in agreement with poo-pooing on someone else to make me feel better in the moment, make me feel more superior. Because a lot of times that's what this kind of talking that I'm tuning into is about. Someone trying to scapegoat you, other people, and they're a victim to the situation. Yeah. So anyway, it looks like these falsenesses, these lies, are being weighed with how you're showing up and who you are. And it feels like with the World card, it's very apparent that you've ended a cycle and that you've had an amazing glow up. Yes. And so there's someone, there's a group. For a lot of you, there's been third-party triangulation. And it feels like people are reconnecting the dots and really seeing what's real and what isn't. So, all right, that's your reading. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.